I'm Cam.
And I'm Ari.
And this is SafetyTech 6. So that's SafetyTech 6. See you next time. So we have a listener question, our first listener question. Welcome back to SafetyTech 6. Our listener question is, what was it again?
Is EHS technology that is designed by non-EHS professionals effective?
Let's get started. 6 minutes. You can start.
I'll take it. I think it's a great question. I think we're seeing a huge surge of interested parties that see the health and safety domain as a area to disrupt. I think new ideas are great and innovation comes from outside views. I think there's a level of nuance and understanding. I mean, we've seen it here today, just the differences in regulations and culture around how health and safety is managed just between Australia and the United States here at this conference. I think that there's layers. You're not building marketing software. And so the risk of getting it wrong is someone's life or regulatory compliance. The benefits, I think, of people who are from outside the domain that are developing technology of any sort, whether it's software, wearables, is there is a very different outside point of view. And they are curious and they do discovery well. And they spend a lot of time trying to talk to people within the job, in the field, at the executive level. In a deployed environment, I mean, how much of that is on the vendor versus the company itself? I think as long as there is a problem to solve, we should always be accepting founders and, people that want to invest in our space and want to help elevate. I think it is a great question to determine the effectiveness of it, but I'm always open to it. I think some people argue that it creates a lot of noise in the market because of the opportunity that it presents. And so you have to be able to go a layer deeper, be able to answer questions, be able to explain your reasoning. But I think that applies to all vendors, whether they come from EHS backgrounds or not. But I mean, there's tons of technology and software companies that have had great success over the last couple of decades that didn't grow or aren't formally trained as health and safety professionals. So I think it's a great question. And I think it depends on their curiosity and their judgment. And, are they there to do the right thing?
Yeah, look, I've gone through, I can't even count how many technology demos I've gone through in my career. But I do find that one of the key questions I do ask vendors is, what is their motivation? What drove them to choose to solve this particular problem? And I have found that with some of the tech accelerator programs and those kind of things, we tend to see like the answer being, well, safety is really important and safety is where companies are prepared to invest and spend money. And when I hear that, I kind of get a little bit concerned that there's it's probably more opportunistic than it is actually legitimately trying to solve a problem.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be examples of good and not so good in this space, but there are certainly examples that I've worked with where we see companies that have had no EHS contextual understanding in their team, and then they're building tech, which is basically not necessarily designed to work for anyone. And these technology, like the approach that they go for, these founders, is that they might go and interview a whole bunch of people in the industry and expect that that's a representation of all that's needed to be able to solve the problem. There are examples of excellence. Well, I think I'll give the examples. So Andre Ferraro, who manages Ferraro Dynamics, they are a hand-arm vibration specialist wearable solution. So he came from Romania and worked at Coventry University, I think it was, in the School of Engineering there, and fell in love with the problem. Fell in love with wanting to solve hand-arm vibration. And did he need EHS professional on his team to be able to help him solve that problem? In that particular instance, I don't think that that was necessarily relevant. Interestingly, he's actually educating EHS professionals on what best practice hand-arm vibration risk mitigation looks like. So I think it's possible to have examples of both. So I'm not sure like where the question and the motivation from the person was asking, but I think there is definitely
a nuance.
There's definitely examples of where there does appear to be a poorly directed motivation against wanting to make money out of safety, which I've definitely seen.
And to wrap that one up, it's usually a drop on the dime surprise when that's not who has the budget. And so then they shift to operations.
They realize that safety doesn't actually have money to spend, and they're like, oh, but hold on, isn't it important? And I think, when you have a EHS professional advising you, or you spend 5 minutes with these founders, you can give them the hard truth that, it's a little bit more nuanced than that. So great question. Hopefully get some more from our listeners. That's it.